All right. All right, here we go. Let me scroll up a little bit. Open this up. Open that back up. And I know my internet may be a little bit slower. No, cancel. All right. I hope everybody is doing well. We'll wait a few seconds to let everybody a few people come in. But if not, we're gonna have a exciting conversation today. I'm so excited. I'm at First Citizens Bank, and this is a beautiful facility. I mean, I'm just blown away by the aesthetic of this bank. It doesn't look like your normal bank for sure, but we'll kind of go ahead and hop in, and if you don't catch us live, you'll catch us on the replay. But I am with Lamont Bunch today of First Citizens Bank, and he is the business banking specialist. So he's going to give us a lot of insight, a lot of information today that we can take hold of and grasp and utilize it within our everyday entrepreneur walk, as I like to say so often. So we'll dive straight in. Lamont, if you can, of course, you've been in banking for 30 plus years.
30 plus years. And
Yeah.
I started when I was 2.
Oh, well, I got you. Yeah, exactly. I get you. For sure. He's gonna tell us a little bit about himself, but also more about First Citizens Bank.
Sure.
Yeah, please.
Again, thank you for coming today.
Of course, I'm
having
excited.
This conversation, and yes, our building is fantastic. We love it up here on Music Row. We have lots of events here. We work with a lot of the small business community and have events that showcase some of those professionals. So it's wonderful up here. So thank you for coming in. I like showing it off.
For sure.
All right. As you said before, I'm 30 years in banking. I'm a Nashville native. Attended Hume-Fogg Magnet High School.
Okay.
As soon as I graduated, I went straight into banking. I had an internship at the time with a bank called First American Bank, and while I was at MTSU, I did my internship, had mentors, and got well versed in banking. Since then, I've done music lending, healthcare lending, and now I primarily focus on just small business and startups and
so right up our alley.
Yeah.
Small business. Yeah.
Small business and working with business owners. I come at it with sort of a consultative sales conversation approach, where when you come in, you tell me you're opening your business. I'm going to usually sit back and let you tell me your story.
Okay.
And from that, I'm going to put together a proposal that will meet, the business owner's needs.
Okay, very cool. So First Citizens Bank, it didn't start, or how long has it been in Nashville?
It's been in Nashville for about 14 years. We're now we're a family control bank out of Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
I started in Raleigh, and we go all the way across the United States to California, actually.
Okay.
We're in over 22 states now. We just purchased CIT.
Okay.
And so that merger has now complete. So we've grown from 40 billion in assets to over 100 billion in assets.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, but the cool part is our focus is again with the business owners. So it's kind of we like to have sort of a boutique style approach in the cities that we're in.
Okay.
So if you come to First Citizens in Nashville, and we're here on Music Row, this place used to be an old Victorian house.
Okay.
But it's been renovated, and so now when you come in, you won't see a teller row or anything like that, but you'll see someone sitting at a desk. Our tellers actually have a desk, and they can work the business transactions, but they also can consult with you on any type of business questions that you have. And then, of course, we have our business conference rooms, and our offices are designed for more of a relaxed feel. It's not the lookout and you see the bank lobby and the lines. It's more about you feel at home.
Right.
And it is a home. And so you get to come in, and it's a nice, cozy feeling. We get to a drink, a Coke or water, and you just kind of sit back and then tell us about your business.
Right.
From that information, we also may ask, to look at, maybe a business plan or an outline, and then we put together a proposal that fits your needs specifically.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of the kind of boutique style, when I came in today, I was greeted immediately when I came in with a gentleman at the front. Which is a little different because usually when you walk in, you kind of walk straight in to a row of individuals,
Right.
and you just tell them, hey, I need some money. But it seems to be a little bit different setup at First Citizens Bank.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's more personable. I feel like
Most definitely, and I think you see that a lot with some of the banks that have a focus like what we have with, again, working with business owners. We want to you to always feel welcome. We always want you to feel that you can approach us and not sit back if something is going on. On my business cards, I always put my cell number there. The bank doesn't pay for my cell phone, but my clients know they can text me 24 hours a day and call, when they need to, and they don't abuse that number. But a lot of times people complain when I'm moving over new business that all they got was a 1-800 number, and that they were dealing with someone either out of the country or across the state, or they had to set an appointment to come in, and that's detrimental to a relationship and building rapport.
Right.
With us, you're dealing with a Nashville native. I've been in banking 30 years. You got my cell number, you have my email, my phone is set up where I can see if you're sending me an email to work, and then you can text me. So those connections are there. There's no 1-800 number if you need to get in contact with me. Now, if I'm on vacation or something, I always make sure that you as a business client are introduced to at least 4 people when you come in, because there's going to be a time when I got the 8-year-old at Disneyland and I can't respond, but that doesn't mean your business stops if you have needs.
That's true. That's good. So I guess speaking of that kind of business relationship and rapport that you get with an individual at First Citizens Bank, what I guess some of what's the importance of setting up a business bank account?
Sure.
And what benefits outside of the relationship might First Citizens Bank offer?
One of the things about setting up a business account is you get to track, of course, how well your business is doing financially. When I have a business owner come in and we're moving forward, I make sure that we open the business account. With that, you're going to get digital banking.
Gotcha.
That way you can do banking 24 hours a day. You can log in on your phone, on your computer, desktop, and you'll be able to see what's going on with your account. You will always have a debit card. You will always, I always encourage a second account to do either taxes, putting money away. Many times small business owners forget that there's, a quarterly tax, that you may have to pay, or have money put aside for year-end taxes. And then you need ways to collect money from clients. So we'll work with you on the merchant services. That's those credit card machines.
And so before the merchant services, you spoke about the business account, and you said a second account. So that second account is underneath. You have your main business account, and then there's a sub account, I would assume.
Well, you have your main business account, and for some people, one account is good. But if I'm talking to you and I inquire about if you have a CPA or how you're handling your taxes and different things like that, or that you want to see your credit card receipts in a separate venue so you can see what's coming in, then I'll talk to them about opening a second business account so you can have that specific focus, and so that your bookkeeper or your CPA doesn't have to pull all your statements and hunt through one account that's probably got 2 or 3 big things going on it. It helps tax-wise.
It simplified with the line items.
It does, and then also when they open their digital banking, they have the ability to add their CPA or bookkeeper on with just a view status.
Got it.
So that when they're working on the taxes or any type of schedules or anything like that throughout the year, if the CPA needs it, they don't have to continue to bother the business owner.
So they have their login.
They have their own login if they need it.
Okay.
The owner would be the one who gives that permission out. So.
Right. That could be very helpful
It
and
is.
beneficial, you
Hmm.
know, because sometimes when dealing with, you know, accountant or a bookkeeper, they're trying to track you down and you miss
Yes.
them and again, you got deadlines to meet. So with them
Most
being able
definitely.
to log in, that's pretty awesome. You were speaking about the simple swipe and the merchant side of business.
Sure.
How does First Citizens kind of handle that portion?
Yeah, most definitely. When we are in initial discussion, I always want to know, well, how are you going to, how will you collect fees from your clients? How do
Mm-hmm.
you, will you accept credit cards and debit cards, which that's the way of the world, it seems like nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
If for a business owner starting out, sometimes the costs are a little bit heavy on the merchant side because they've got to pay for the equipment, and then of course you've got your monthly fees that are involved with that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I like to do, and especially with our small business owners, we may have a program. Well, we have a merchant program where we use what's called a swipe simple, and you
Okay.
have a device where you can actually swipe the credit card, and it can be in your phone or in your iPad.
Mm-hmm.
You can fix it up where you're taking it just on a computer,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, whenever I see a small business owner that's starting out, I may or I have a promotion where we actually pay for the cost of that machine to get them going.
Okay.
And that savings may be 150 to $200 initially to
Right.
get started, which is huge in your opening days of your business.
Right.
So if I bring a new business prospect, and we get the business account open and the digital banking, and they want to go ahead and try the merchant out,
Mhm.
I usually will go through and just waive that fee so that they're up and running.
Right.
And I'll usually take care of the first order of checks if they need checks as well.
Okay. So is that swipe reader just like a little small, I guess,
Yeah, it's a smaller device,
handheld? Yeah.
and it can be handheld, meaning if you venture out to a fair of some type, and
Mhm.
you have your business set up and you need to have a card reader available,
Mhm.
you can actually take it with you
Okay,
and
good.
swipe. Yeah, it's not although you can get the bigger card swipe that you see sometimes in a dental office
Right.
where they just swipe the card there. You can get that, but if you need more mobility,
Right.
then we have that service.
Yeah. I think that's it's a little bit more accessible.
Sure.
Well, not accessible, but user friendly.
Right.
Because it's not something you have to lug around.
Exactly.
And like you said, at different markets or fairs,
Hmm.
you can just pop it out, plug it into your phone, and take payment there. But you also said you don't have to use the swiper. You can just take payment
Right.
Without the swipe as
Yeah,
well.
we have the ability to set it up even on your website,
Okay.
and have your clients go to the website to make purchases.
Hmm.
Or if you carry your iPad, it can be set up on your. You can of course access your website through your iPad, and they can take
Right.
payments there.
Okay. Good. Good. That's
If
awesome.
if they need to bill a vendor, we have it set up where they can actually send a text with a link, and it has
Right.
the invoice
That's good.
in there
Yeah. That's
versus
good.
sending paper. For me, it's nothing better than to get an office to go green.
Uh-huh.
And one of the ways
Right.
of doing that is being able to send your vendor the invoice electronically,
Right.
as well as if you need to debit your vendors. You know, if they allow you to step in and take payment just on a fixed monthly basis,
Uh-huh.
we have the ability to do that as well.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, you know, as you hear Lamont speaking about different obviously business accounts and merchants, I know we're all thinking, well, you know, a lot of different banking opportunities offer these simple swipes. Let's talk about some of the fees that may come along
Mhm.
with that swipe reader. Obviously, we know it is a service, so there will come with a small fee. But I'd love to hear, you know, the fees that come with First Citizen side of the house.
Right. So the fees, a lot of times could be based on the type of card that is swiped.
Gotcha.
So it'll be different. You know, maybe a 2.5% or 2.3. It's
Mhm.
different, but it depends on the type of card.
Mm-hmm.
But with each swipe, though, ours is usually around like 10 cents per swipe.
Oh,
So
really?
that's a low fee
That is a
compared
low
to
fee.
a lot of other merchant services that you see.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
So with I don't know, say somebody has an American Express. American Express might charge the business owner 2% Okay.
2.5,
But
2.6.
per citizens only charges maybe 10 cents or whatnot.
Well, that percentage that I talked about is just what the card actually charges,
Right.
but the actual swipe,
Right.
yeah, that's
Exactly.
separate from that. That's just like a 10-cent per swipe.
Right. But that's the is that the only fee from First Citizens?
You'll have your fee per swipe,
Right.
and then you have your fee for the there's a monthly fee, flat monthly fee
Got
that
it.
you'll have. That's roughly about $19 as compliance fee.
Uh-huh.
And so, with all credit card machines, there is a continual compliance that you have to stay up on.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you ever have a need where you need to have a credit card machine or something shipped to you
Mm-hmm.
overnight,
Gotcha.
that fee is kind of an ongoing, just flat fee
Okay.
that helps. And versus having if you've got the insurance or the monthly fee in place, you'll get your machine sent and not have to pay the price of a full blown
Gotcha.
machine.
Okay.
So
It's like a buffer
yes.
type of fee or
Right.
whatnot. Covers a multitude of things.
Mhm.
Okay, very good.
And it's all about having your business stay in motion,
Mm-hmm.
and not that if the machine breaks down, you got to wait and buy another one and wait for that to be shipped. You're getting something by UPS or FedEx overnight, so that the continuity continues on.
That's good. Okay, good. I think that is a great asset for business owners to have. I love the swipe machines because I think it levels up your credibility.
Sure.
When you don't have to fumble around with how somebody can pay you.
And especially in this day and age, there's still, I know I've been to some of my favorite restaurants, local restaurants, and they don't even take credit card machines. Some that just take cash that are out
Oh,
there.
really?
And I'm like, you're missing opportunities because I know that in some of these that they take cash only,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm thinking, gosh, how much more would I buy if
Mm-hmm.
I usually have enough just to get the main meal, but sometimes I want to get dessert and I want to get a drink,
Right.
But for whatever reason, they're out there, and I don't call any names because I don't want my food to get messed with.
Right. I get that.
But there's lots of restaurants that still do cash only.
Oh wow. They need to kind of catch up on the times.
Yeah, I guess there's so many myths behind certain things that I'm not a CPA and I can't really address that. But my thing is, if you take cash only, you're going to miss out on an opportunity with credit card and debit card where people might buy something extra as they're getting ready to check out.
Right.
A lot of times, if you're cash only, you're limited to the cash that you have.
That's
Whereas
true.
at the checkout, you have a debit card or a credit card, I'm going to add, if it's a restaurant, I'm going to add a dessert, I'm going to add a drink. Whereas I may have, without that, I would have got the meal, and then I was like, can I get a cup of water?
Yeah.
Sometimes I guess people are worried about getting tracked and showing more money that they make and think they're going to pay in taxes. But the thing is, with credit card machines, you will get, the reason you'll pay more in taxes is because you're making more money.
Right. Right. And that's what you want.
And that's what you want.
Yeah.
And because what happens, you come to the bank and, sometimes, on your tax returns, if you're not showing you're making enough money, then that may say that you couldn't make the payment on a new building or a new vehicle, when really your business has been around 20 years and you're making a certain amount of money. It's just not all being reported.
Right.
And so it gets hard when you get to me and you want to do something and you've just been working with cash and not reporting all of it. Versus if you're making really good dollars, then you can expand, you can franchise, you just, there are many more possibilities than being worried about paying taxes for the year.
That's good. So kind of speaking, I guess to kind of segue off of leveraging opportunity with different credit options as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to just carrying cash. Another thing, I know a lot of my friends don't even carry cash anymore. You know?
Right.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole nother thing. But can we speak a little bit about business credit and how
Sure.
First Citizens handles that and kind of has a little bit of I guess a doorway for
Mm-hmm.
small business owners to get in with business credit.
Sure. Usually with small business, one of the things I always encourage people to do is if they're looking to move into being their own business owner,
Mm-hmm.
if they haven't left their W-2 paying job, if they haven't left, the job where they're working for someone else yet,
Mm-hmm.
get to the bank before you become self-employed.
Gotcha.
The
Good idea.
reason being, you may be able to set up a line of credit or home equity line or something based off of the income that you're making at your current job where you're a W-2 employee.
Mm-hmm.
And that is important because when you finally come to a bank, and it's First Citizens or anybody, we always have to see some type of continuity of cash being received where you're showing you can service the debt that you have.
Okay.
We may ask for last 2 years tax returns. If you've just started a business, you won't have that.
Right.
You may have a business plan, but you won't be able to show that you've been selling and
Right.
that you're making revenue on a consistent
Income,
basis. And that's not to say that you still won't get a loan because you still have some guarantees out there like SBA or
Mm-hmm.
other entities that may guarantee something. But to make it easier, I would always say try to set up a line of credit either with a home equity line or just unsecured or a credit card before you get into the type of business that you want to go to. So you'll have those lines available to draw on
Mm-hmm.
during your first 6 to 12 months as you get up and running.
Gotcha.
And if you don't have it, it's still okay, but it may be a tighter ride as you try to secure capital
Gotcha.
as your business takes off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing. A lot of people start their business and they get surprised by how well they do,
Mm-hmm.
and then they need additional capital to keep going, but they don't have the financials yet
Mm-hmm.
to show that they're making a lot of money to service the debt.
Right.
We have to make sure that it's not just the excitement that goes along by the community of your business
New
being up
business,
and running,
yeah.
and within the first 3 to 6 months. You really have to look to see that over a year to 2 years to 3 years that you've been profitable and that you can make the payments on it, and that's helping that person as well as helping the bank. Both entities benefit from seeing a trail because you have an idea of what's coming in, and you have an idea of what your business, if the focus has been where it needed to be. To generate new revenue, to handle any type of debt that the business may have to get into, to continue to run, to continue to grow, to expand, to franchise, all that good stuff.
Okay, so it sounds like with business credit, if they don't have any established business credit from their business, they can kind of do a mixture of currently what's going on in their business, but also their personal.
Most
credit,
definitely.
yeah.
And again, if you've been working at a job for 3 years or 10 years or whatever, that's history of a paycheck you've been getting.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go ahead and you can set up a line of credit. You can do a home equity line. There's certain products that don't even require collateral these days. Outside of a credit card, you have just a regular line that you can have in your name. And they can get that as high as probably $25,000, depending on the things that are considered in that is kind of what your existing debts are, how you've made payments on the existing debts, things like that. But you can set that up and be able to draw off of that while you're getting your business up and running. If you don't have credit, we actually have a secured credit card where you can put $500 to $10,000 into an account and secure a card that will work just like how your regular credit card works. It reports to the credit bureau, and you can build your credit up. and that helps to get trade lines on the credit bureau that builds up your credit history, which builds up your credit score.
Right. I know a lot of individuals, their entryway is the secured route, because it's a lot of, I guess, banking companies advise start this way so you can build your credit,
right,
and that way you'll have something to show for at that point. Is there a minimal as far as like a business loan that First Citizens
looks at? It's right at about 10,000.
Okay.
And then below that, we'll do like a credit card.
Okay.
So I've had some where we do a $5,000 credit card, and then we may look at a $10,000 loan for a piece of equipment or renovations or something like that, whatever they may have a need for.
Okay, good. That's some great insight as far as business banking. We talked a little bit about merchant services through First Citizens. Talked a little bit about business credit. Are there kind of any other suggestions or insights that you think a small business owner should think about when starting a business?
Most definitely. Once you're up and running, the biggest thing today is protecting against fraud. So if you are, for me, if I have a client that's coming in and we're opening a business account, I always want to say, are you going to be writing a lot of checks? Are you going to be receiving a lot of credits and debits, in and out of the account, a lot of transactions? If that's the case, we'll always talk about some type of fraud monitoring. We can do what's called ACH positive pay or reverse positive pay. And what that does is every morning, a business owner can actually sign into their digital banking, and they'll actually get like an email as well that says these items are being presented, and you get to look at all of them and determine if you wrote everything or you recognize that some vendor is maybe pulling a payment. But if you see something you don't understand, you actually have a certain time period where you can push a button and send that particular item back and have it not pay.
Okay.
Now it takes daily maintenance and you can watch it, but it gives you, there are two choices. You can actually have items that come through your account just pay the normal way, and you still get an email so you can see what those items are, and if you need to push something back, you can do that. Or you can have it set where, and this is the ACH positive pay, where the items are presented, and if you don't go in and say pay all of them, then they can all go back to who the items were made to or not made to. If a bunch of fraudulent items came in and you didn't do it, they would actually be set to go back to whoever tried to initiate that.
Okay. So protection.
The protection. Yeah. That's all it comes down to is fraud protection.
Gotcha. Sounds like from what you were just saying, the most important thing for a small business owner is set up the bank account as soon as you start the business.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. And Coach, so that process again is they come in, they'll meet with a banking specialist, kind of get some insight into what their goals and ambitions are.
I'm gonna have a nice consultative sales conversation. I'm gonna let that person talk, and based on that discussion, I'm gonna put together a plan. I'm not a person who immediately says somebody comes in and says I need a business account, and you just pick out whatever and put them in it and keep going. It's really something where if you're going to have a lot of activity, we have an account that would work for you, that based on high activity, this particular account benefits you. If you're a small business starting out, we have actually a business checking account that does not have a monthly service fee, as long as you stay within 175 transactions per month, which a lot of new businesses, that's perfect. If business increases, we just can change the code on that account, which means the business owner gets to keep the same business account number. You just adjust the account to the number of transactions or the increase of business to make it more beneficial.
What is the service fee for those who have less than 175 transactions?
Well, if you have less than 175 transactions, there's no monthly service fee.
Oh, okay, gotcha. If there's okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
But it's over.
And when it's over, you may have like a fee of $19.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay,
On
understood.
certain accounts, and it may go up just depending on what it is. But there are ways to waive those fees by the dollar amount that you keep in the account.
Gotcha. Yeah, hey, that's super beneficial. You know, start a bank account and you don't have to worry about service fees.
Right.
You know, especially as small business owners, we're trying to cut costs any way that we can. So, again, Lamont, if you can tell them how they can
Sure.
reach you, and also put it in the comments as well.
Okay. If you have any questions, you can feel free to call or email me. My email address is lamont.bunch@firstcitizens.com. Lamont is spelled LAMONT .bunch BUNCH @firstcitizens.com, and First Citizens is spelled out. My direct phone line is 615-744-4825, and I'd love to schedule one-on-one appointments where you can come in and we can sit down and I can put a proposal together and address any type of banking needs that you have. I'll take care of you.
Well, I am so excited and thankful for you and the opportunity to come in and chat with you about business banking. I am going to look around the
We'll take the
facilities
tour.
a little bit more because it's a beautiful facility. But again, reach out to Lamont at lamont.bunch@firstcitizens.com. If you have any questions, let me know, and we'll get Lamont on the line if we need
Most
to, or
definitely.
we'll come in as a team, as a group, and get some questions answered. But thank y'all for hopping in with me
Thank
today
you.
on this live, and we'll see you next go round.
See you next time.
Bye bye.